Hello everyone. So, welcome back. Here for another day, another video. Today we're going to do some world building. Hey Nathaniel. So, we'll start with a brief catch up, because it has been a while since we've talked about the system. We'll briefly chat about D23 and how that playtest is going, and then we'll do some world building, and I'll leave it up to chat what kind of world building you would like to see today. So, my gain went a bit high there. So, how system development is going is it hasn't really progressed anywhere. We've moved to a new format of action cards. We've moved a lot more of the character stuff to purely it's each playbook. The reason for this was the core rulebook is getting a bit big again. So all the player facing stuff is now in the playbook. They will interact with the core rules, which is in the core rulebook. We've also started work on the Game Guide's companion, mainly because I did a mass spell rebalance, which meant I might as well write all the notes that went into the rebalancing into a document so that players then have access to it for later reference. A lot of IRL stuff has just meant I haven't really had much time to do much. I just finished a second pass of Battle Channeler. So that's had a big update. That's had a load of new stuff tied to the emotions that the testers will be able to play with if they want to. So now I'm turning my attention to the Eternalist, which is our version of the Cleric, for their version of updating. My main goal is get all the classes done with the action cards, because then that's a job done. Then I want to go and look at the rules glossary and conditions and just give them another pass. See if we can simplify some bits, make more bits a bit more thematic. I need to go through spells at some point and do a material component redo. We need to make rights more interesting. Yeah, there's still a lot. Play testing, just to catch everyone up on how that's going. The players beat level 2, which is good. They're now on to level 3. So now we're going to see what subclasses. Now we're going to see what subclasses does with everything. We had our first go at Titanic combat. I need to give it a look. The general intent is that Titanic combat, you either fight 3 ways. You either have a vehicle, you have something to make you as big to punch the thing, or you Shadows of the Colossus it. And I think I need to do more work on the Shadow of the Colossus style combat to make that more interesting. That's something I can work on in the background. At the moment they've still got level 3 to get through, so unless they die they won't go back to the lower levels, so I've just got to try and keep up with the level that they are at. Hopefully the system is good and interesting. What I might do, since I've got a few of the classes to a point that I'm happy with them, is maybe hand them out to people I know really enjoy playing certain classes and go, hi, what do you think about this? At some point I'm also going to sit down, because I have an idea for another Bard subclass, which will give them now 7. And there are a few Eternalist domains that, while there are 20 domains currently, I'm kind of sat there going, these ones are kind of obvious and missing. Especially because we have a running theme of classes getting a subclass themed around legends and myths, and trying to up that and give that to the classes that don't have them. So for Eternalist it would be like the legends domain, So yeah, the system's getting developed slowly but surely. Playtests are happening slowly but surely. But yeah, today we are doing world building. So there are a few things we could do that come under world building. I'm going to present it to chat, see what they would or would not like. My current thoughts are we could either work on one of our settings. We have a few world anvil pages. If you want me playing around with silly software, there's some software I got which is meant to help with DMing and world building, having kind of a in-house wiki, which if I can get my head around it would be I can work on it in session and between sessions, and then when I'm happy with something I put it onto the world anvil for kind of the player wiki facing. Another option of what we'll do today is we can work on some there's a horror adventure I have been writing, and I need to make some SCP style articles for some of the monsters in there. So today's world building session could be that, where we're trying to come up with some monsters and the lore around those monsters. So we could either do some setting, we can do some monster stuff. Another we could do is I have been working on a bit of a fan project, which is a kind of Strixhaven meets FF14 style thing. So we could work on that. That would be making kind of lesson plans and lessons that the players could interact with. So, do any of them sound interesting, chat? Would you like monsters? Would you like world? Just general like setting stuff? Or would you prefer more Strixhaven-y school bits? Monsters. Okay, you can do monsters. I just need to get myself set up, so I need to briefly alter some of my documents around. While we are doing world building, if anyone has any questions of any of the random mini projects that we're working on, do feel free to ask. Meanwhile, I am briefly going to... I might need to make a new document. That's what I might need to do. Right, so what I am going to briefly look up is there an SCP style guide? Yes, but it's very basic. Okay. Do I have my list of monsters? Do I have my list of monsters? Is it? Unfortunately, the problem with having so many projects is I do have lots of documents, and it's just trying to work out where did I put the thing. Adventure Path, Seal of Owls. Yes, I think this is it. So the list of monsters, I will briefly... blank. We want the blank one, so monsters. Monster. That's the pitch document. That is something I advise people make, but not exactly what we need here. Here we go. This is what I want. Containment. So I need a bunch of... So what we have to write, we have safe items. We have close you. We have safe items. We have... Did I make it? Ooh, there we go. Oh, okay then. I made a list of random safe items we could try to adapt. I cannot remember where I got that list from. For level 2. Okay, I'm just gonna... We're just gonna grab all of you and copy you over to here. So, we need to come up with some monster lore. So let's have a look. See, let's see if there's anything that comes to mind. So, what we have is safe, which is items, which is basically magic items. Yeah, I really came up with some random crap here. We have some, but we wanted monsters, so let's have a think. Well, I put it to you, chat. Feel free to jump in on this one. Should we do a monster from level 2, which is light containment? These are anomalous sentient entities. An observation. We have level 3, which is heavy containment, which are hazardous entities. We have level 4, which is also heavy containment, hazardous pathogen storage, isolation testing. That one is more infectious monsters. Or we have level 5, which is warded containment, which is hazardous extraplanar containment. Or forbidden object containment. Do people prefer some of the light ones or the heavy ones? I can go into, because I vaguely recall some of these. I can briefly give an overview and see if anyone wants a specific thing being written up. I'll do a bit of an overview then. So for safe items, these are items that could... Oh. Overview would be helpful. Okay. So, not all of these will actually make the cut. I just made a giant list of things. We'll see what works. But safe item storage was basically items that the characters could find useful. So, for example, there was a transformation injector where you inject it and you'll turn into something briefly, maybe permanently, that could provide some assistance in a moment of need. The deck of many things, an item that would suddenly awaken spell casting in you, an endless portable hole, pills that give you a long rest, magic items that are, as I call them, tired, which means they don't work as they normally should, a music box that plays the thoughts of nearby creatures, power armor, necklaces of adaptation and bubbles of breathing as gas masks, potions used to test technology, stone of sending as earrings, cloak of Montebok as an emergency escape cloak, all-purpose tools that graft themselves onto your forearm, an amulet of plane where every roll is a failure, a sentient spellbook that prepares the spells for its user, magic armor of resistance, a full bag of holding where random items get taken out every time you put your hand into it, a ring of featherfall that makes a zone of reverse gravity, nod to the Luxem beacon from Critical Role because I'm anything if not original. Wing of flying, where while flying an aura of increased gravity is applied around the user. So you defy gravity while everyone else is getting crushed. Mask of Beasts acts as a Lord's Mantle, but it turns you into a creature that the mask is the form of. And it changes creature after each use. An Iron Stone that does an aura benefit. That either benefits you but hurts other people, or hurts yourself to help others. Animated magical tattoos that a mirror of past works that lets you see the past, a modified necklace of prayer beads, orbs of direction that points towards where you desire, an orb of time that messes with the time stream, pipe of smoke monsters that actually summons monsters, a pipe of remembrance that relates fears and defeats rather than losses. Musical instruments that when you start playing it casts Dance Macabre. Ring of Mind Shielding that loudly tells everyone's nearby surface forts. A Ring of Newton's Third Law. A Sunblade, but it's dark instead of light. Then for level 2, so safe items is basically things that players will grab in the hopes that it will help them on the adventure, with them potentially being helpful, but you've just got to work out the knack to using them. Level 2 is a section that the players will be able to negotiate with. Currently it is used to hold light containment entities, but it works a bit. To put the adventure simply, it is an SCP containment breach situation. Something has got out and everything's gone to hell. So on this level, the things that were contained here are having a bit of a civil war. On one half are awakened animals. On the other half are constructs and creatures like that. So on this floor is a binder, which for those who know D&D 3.5 was basically a character that could shove extraplanar entities into themselves. So the animals that are in the Civil War, on the awakened animal side is a small lizard who excretes feeble mind, a rooster who wants very much to be who wants farm animals to rise up in revolution and can talk, and it's very over the top. Hypnotoad, the seal of seals, a self-replicating goose that can breathe fire, the goodest boy, a duck-sized horse, a scheming cat, and as I said, the comrade rooster. And then on the other side are the animated stuffed animals, which is a stuffed bear that can make new animated constructs, a paper tiger, an assorted group of stuffed creatures with anomalous magic items inside, a mech suit for the bear, small clockwork creatures afflicted by a clockwork curse, a small doll that can talk for the bear, a stuffed gorilla fighters, and a monkey with clashing pans. Also on this floor is a cursed sentient armor, a human that can heal via touch, a human with over-the-top regeneration, an entity that, if hurt, would heal, but their body is like shards of glass. A person that can see their own reflection, otherwise they turn into a mirror, who has to see their own reflection, otherwise they turn into a reflection of someone else. And a person whose body alters to take on characteristics of anything they touch. This is the set of monsters that you can totally negotiate with to get past. You've just got to be very careful because a number of these groups do not like people. Level 3 is, if you've ever watched Red Dwarf, it's a bit like the polymorph. A wild magic user who can't control it. A mutated Tarrasque, an unkillable fighter, a creature that can walk in others' dreams, a creature that can cast spells, that when they cast spells they grow in power, an unstable telepath, a fourth wall breaker, an unstable returner, and a child who casts true polymorph without meaning to. Then you have level 4, which is basically it's viruses, zombies, all that malarkey. And then you have level 5, which is where we get into the Eldritch things. We have one that is based off Slenderman, which I already know what I'm going to do for that one. There is the actual answer to the problem that they need, which is to a door to a domain of... this was originally written for D&D, so it was originally a domain of dread, but we'll be slightly changing that. An avatar of an eldritch horror that can bestow a curse on touch. Some unique entities that could, if someone was a binder, be used to bind. Evil crown, an evil sword, some scrolls of forbidden spells, a creature that has features based on the fear and memories of creatures around it, a creature that can capture reflections of others and mess with them, a time weaver, some body horror creature, a song that can turn you evil, a mechanical creature that makes other machines and can hack reality, a creature made of dreams of a beholder that saw too much, the beholder who did see too much, and a creature that steals faces of those who show emotion. And I have some other ideas as I was saying that we could also add for some extra freaky eldritch stuff. Because in theory, we don't want all of them getting out. How I like these adventures to run is that I can run them multiple times and they'll be different, not just because the players, but the way the setting works. So what I would potentially want is maybe some of them that will remain in their cell no matter what, that the players, if they really want to, can try to haggle with these things for mixed results. But having about 5-ish that could, at the beginning of the session, before the adventure is run, the game guide could roll a dice and go, right, this one is the one that escaped containment, therefore these set of things happen. So the upper floors will remain fairly consistent. There might be some bits throughout the adventure where effectively, depending on the entity, depends on if it has an effect on the upper floors and what that might be. It might be certain creatures are more powerful, or they're slightly warped in some way. But then on the ground, on the bottom floor, which is where you need to go to solve the problem that brought you here in the first place, you effectively are playing a survival horror game against whatever it is that is out. And in theory, the other creatures on the floor could help you. So, do any of them sound interesting? I realise that was a lot of entities, but I was given the chance to just splatter on the wall a whole load of random ideas for wild horror. The only one who won't be present is the Slenderman one, but that's because I have a different adventure planned for them, but their file would be on the floor that could be found by the players as a hint towards enough. Because effectively it's 5 separate horror adventures that could be run as one-shots or can be run as a concurrent mass adventure. And one of those adventures does feature the Slenderman, and effectively this would be your warning of, here is what the fucker can do. Have fun with that. But yeah, any of those monsters sound cool? Any of those monsters sound like yeah, we want to see the article for that one? Face stealer. Okay, the one that steals faces of those who show emotion. Okay, so let's have a thingamajig. So we're going to. So you are a level 5 containment. Okay. Let's have us. Looky look. I'm paying attention. I'm just currently looking at the SCP Foundation advice. Audio video log, what it looks like. Okay. Oh, yeah, of course, because they're using HTML. Okay, so let's where's the heading? So let's go with a heading 2. So entity number. Anything with an X at the moment is purely me because I haven't worked out how that system would look. Where is heading 3? No, that's not what I wanted. Oh, I hate it when it does this. No. How do I bring that back? How do I view? Okay. Put that back. Yeah, annoyingly, this thing, for some reason, decided to. It was a clever idea to shrink the one section that I actually use. And I don't know how we were to actually increase it that it stops. It's because they added all these stupid Adobe Acrobat bits, and like, I don't care about Adobe Acrobat. To be honest, the temptation to just delete Adobe Acrobat so that I don't have to deal with it anymore. So, which one are we doing? We're doing the entity that steals faces. And the traditional format is special containment procedures. Description. Addendum. So let's have a thing that steals faces is definitely a outsider. Is it an outsider? Ooh, that's a good question. So there are a few things in the cosmology that could steal a face. I don't think it should be a masked evil, which is our version of devils and demons. It feels a bit too unique for that. You could even do it as... Well, there are three things it could be. We'd get the eldritch feel that a face stealer would have. You could either have it be a creature of nightmare. A creature of nightmare. You could have it be a creature of pure psychic energy, which might be why it's tied to emotions. But that's also why nightmare works, because it's tied to emotions. Or you just have an outsider, which is, it completely ruins reality. I might, because a couple of the other creatures are tied to the dream. I might not do that. Which means we're stuck with either an outsider or a thought entity. Outsider's easy, very easy to do outsider. I'm just trying to think if... because if it was tied to the thought web, you could have some funky stuff happen if anyone's playing a psychic character. But let's see, what else is on the floor? Floor domain of death. That's an outsider. That's an outsider. They're weird. Ooh, pardon me. That's mass. That's undead. That's a thought web. Or nightmare. That's an outsider. That's an outsider, potentially. That's definitely an outsider. Yeah, we could do a thought web creature. That'd be interesting. So if it's a thought web entity, that means for special containment procedures. So it's thought web, so it's emerged. It is a strong enough subconscious thought that has manifested in physical space. Special. Procedures. So it's gonna want to be held in a containment unit that prevents grants access to the port web. Because otherwise it could just return home. Also, it prevents it entering the mindscapes of any, the psychic mindscapes of any sentient entities nearby. Communication must be done via sending stone. And the only thing that can enter the containment area is... The only thing that can maintain the area is constructs with non-sentient constructs. In the event of containment breach, construct, non-sentient constructs will be required to recontain it. While staff evacuate. How does this entity look? That is a question. So, they're not... How would a face stealer look? It probably has no set appearance. Its appearance is probably whatever would derive while it has a physical form, its exact appearance is malleable. gain traits based off the surface thoughts of entities nearby. If in close proximity to an entity it identifies as prey, it can access prolonged other. So basically, if it can sense your thoughts, it can adopt a form based off your surface thoughts that might generate an emotional response. If it finds that you are if it is getting ready to hunt and you are nearby and it has decided you're what's going to be eaten, it can spend time in your proximity, and the longer it is around you, the further into your subconscious it can delve, and therefore pick a form that is much more likely to generate an emotional response. This entity comes from the thought web, which is basically the sum collection of all sentient entities' thoughts as a dimensional space. And this entity is from the deeper levels, which is much more... It is less specific in form, it is less specific in nature, but it is incredibly dangerous, as it is a place where many loose thoughts can be given form. This entity can... This entity feasts on basically the emotions and the connection between the brain and the thought web. So what it does is it looks for an emotion which it can then latch on to and then basically consume the mind, turning what's left into a mindless husk. And a side effect of this is the consuming of the face. In that somehow the entity, the victim's face, is completely removed. So you do look like a bit like a Slender Man. If it is near you and able to sense a rough thought form, it will base an appearance of something that it think might generate an emotion. But the longer it is around you in a hunting pattern, the more precise the form it can take to guarantee an emotional response. The only commonality in its multiple forms is the fact that it has a humanoid face, which can be any face of any of its prior victims. It has to be kept in a containment cell that blocks all connection to the thought web and stops it also being able to access the minds of sentient entities nearby, and as such all maintenance and containment must be maintained by non-sentient constructs. In the event of containment breach, the constructs must attempt to recontain it while staff evacuate, and a group of owl mites, which are the militant arm of this group, are ready to deal with it should it escape. I think that's a fun little entity. Is there any other entity that folks would be interested in seeing us do? Or does anyone have any opinions on the Face Stealer? I'm also happy to take opinions on the Face Stealing entity. I'm going to have a quick check. Well, I'm glad it sounds scary, because that is the intention. Our intent is to be a horror monster, so but now I have a rough idea. I can flesh that one out as and when. I don't think that one will be a containment breach monster, purely because the more I think about it, I'm like, oh god, that one's so easy for a character to fuck up and die. But in theory, also really fun, because what you can just do is that from the player's perspective, they maybe get like a window that can see into the room, and all they see is an empty room, and it's like, yeah, because it's trapped in a room with no psychic stuff. But whatever you do, do not try and enter the empty room, otherwise bad things will happen. Though, hopefully by the point they get to this level, they've learnt that, because they will have dealt with the civil war between animated constructs and animals. They will have dealt with the a lack of the face, and the fact that basically you don't have any mental function. So your int, your whiz, your charisma all would be effectively -4. Effectively, you are, as the kids would say, fucked. And your fate is to die of basically dehydration, and yeah, you won't even know you're dying. And the players will have also just survived the level of absolute scientific horror monsters, so hopefully they will be careful and read the reports before they open any doors. For those who are wondering what level 4 is like, if you've ever played Mass Effect 3, where it's the Cerberus facility where they do the experiments, if you played it, you know what I mean. With that level, it's basically that as an entire floor of a facility of just bad. I do look forward to running this adventure. It's basically I get to write a mini monster manual of just horrors. Because of course, it's going to be like, you get an SCP article, and then it's, here is the actual monster stats. Don't. What's the monster stats? Just don't fuck with it, that's what its stats are. Just behave, be nice. Don't mess around with the Eldritch Horrors. They will just kill you. Oh. God, I really need to pick up doing streaming more, mainly because it tires me out really quickly, which is telling me that I need to do it more to get myself back into the not getting tired so quickly. Dear God. Dangerous objects are nice and easy because I already have written. On this floor, for example, is Big Bad. Is a crown that contains the soul of a big bad from another setting that I have done. And yeah, if they were to take that crown outside that facility, problems would ensue. The sword is a bit less of a problem. The sword is just, hey, how do you feel about having an ancient lich in a sword that wants to offer you power in exchange for using it? Making a deal, making a pact. The crown is just get me out of here and we will kickstart the apocalypse. I mean, the player would be very easy able to deal with the adventure path. It's just the consequences post-adventure path is not maybe worth thinking about. So yeah, those are the dangerous objects. Probably not. Probably not. Purely because this is a post-containment. The adventure is a post-containment breach situation. So effectively, the containment procedures have activated, and they've got massacred. Which, you know, fun. But yeah, I don't think any of the security will be there. Basically, the players are, in effect, the last security. Like there are forces that would potentially come in to solve the actual problem, partially because the players will not be high enough level to deal with the problem, especially with the bottom floor. As I said, it is a survival horror situation rather than a heroic horror situation. Because what the players will... The first adventure is heroic horror. You can defeat the monsters. In fact, that is the purpose, is you defeat the monsters to deal with the problem that starts the adventure. That's level 5. The next adventure is... In theory, you can kill a lot of the things, but also a lot of the things can kill you. it's very Eldritch Horror. That's level 6, so this is the one following that, so you'd be level 7. So yeah, you will not really be dealing with the creatures that are trying to murder you. You can certainly give it a roaring try, but it's probably not going to go well. Because a lot of these things will have abilities where it's very much a... The goal is not that you get to initiative. The goal is that you would avoid them, because much like the Face Stealer, it's a case of if you fail this roleplay requirement, there is a good chance you're going to die. So we don't want... So yeah, we really don't want, if we can help with the players fighting, their main goal should be treat it like a cyber horror, treat it like something where you are avoiding this thing like the plague. The adventure after this one, that one you can fight. You probably shouldn't. You should be trying to solve the mystery, but you can, in theory, fight. It's just very hard. And then the final one is very deliberately a yes, you fight, because that is the one where you're trying to fight to, like, stop the big evil. See, I don't think anyone... That's its own whole thing. I'm not good. I guess we could. We could theoretically look at that, because it's part of the article is trying to work out what the domain is. So for our settings, you have domains in the realms of death. So this is a Death Lord, that there is a door that the players can access, that they have to access. That one's going to be a bit harder of an article to write, because that one is effectively one of those SCPs where it's a lot more of a here are the records of our expeditions into the strange land. So for the domain of death is what is known as Sumirith. And it is an entire domain, so it is an entire realm within the realms of death that is just one giant library. And yeah, it has whole communities living in the library. It has the librarians, which we do not mess with the librarians. The librarians will just kill you. The librarians are like these horrible eldritch monsters. Yeah, I do make a lot of eldritch monsters. I've come to realise that there's a lot of eldritch monsters that we do right. there is... So ones I already know. The Slender Man-like monster is an outsider, which means they have a very specific naming scheme. So his name is... Let's see if I can really find it. What was his name? His name is... His name is It That Walks the Path of Black Leaves. And he's fun. I've got some fun ideas for him. Also, which ones we got? Outsiders. Outsiders are kind of accidentally my jam. So what we got? You got the Horror of the Body, you got the Time Weaver, we have... We have It That Bestows the Gift. Oh, what's this? Oh, don't start playing up with. It's starting to say, the music that you're using, the music that I license, is it might be copyrighted. Breaking news and piss off. Yeah, so we have. Yeah, I'm currently just thinking. Bestows the boon. Should also probably start thinking about which of these is actually going to be the cause of the escape attempt. I like it that each floor effectively has its own story. It's just floor 5 kind of culminates in the story of the whole place as well as the story of each floor. So the mid floor is obviously everyone running away because the bomb floors got a containment breach. And so everyone's rising up and having their revolution. Floor 3. What was floor 3? Hazardous entity containment. It's probably that one or two of the entities there have broken out in the confusion. And then floor 4 is... things didn't go well. So who would be our 5? 5 or 6 you want? Probably Dream Creature. Mechanical Curse. Body Horror. I think the reflection creature would be a fun one. And the Memorex would be a fun one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's have the Time Weaver. Yeah, because the others, potentially we could have some. Oh, that isn't meant to have been clicked. I don't know what happened there. Give me a second. Yeah, that went weird. Oh, I think I know. I bet you anything that button is one I've had. For a very long time, kind of stuck to the side, just ready. But yeah, I think sorry. YouTube's keys going, we've detected stream that belongs to someone else. Your stream may be getting blocked. It's like, oh, come on. I have licensed this thing. I have told you already in previous times. But yeah, no, what I think happened was the keys to the very right of my keyboard in the number lock area, which include the asterisk button, I think I had logged to pre-set up to move to other seeds. So I think that's what happened. But yes, note to self, don't use that button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So out of that floor, the things that cause the containment breach, depending on which version of the event you do, is either the fear monster, the reflection monster, the time weaver, the body horror monster, the mechanical monster, or the nightmare monster. And then everything else on that floor can be a peaceful entity. Well, not peaceful, but how would the time monster work? It'd be a lot of dice roll stuff, so it'd be like you roll a dice, you roll well, it makes you re-roll, or it gives you disadvantage, it gives itself advantage. It can do a lot of mess with the dice stuff, mess with luck. It could also it can play with timelines, so it can like make echoes of timelines that never was, versions of you that never were. Back when this was D&D, it would have had access to chronomancy spells. So I guess Arquiv will be, if any spell has the time tag, it will have access to time magic. That one will be an outsider. That one will be an entity that can see time as its entirety, because it doesn't exist in the in the traditional 4 dimensions that we exist in. It would be like a 5th dimensional entity. So as the characters are trying to hide from this thing, each chasing you would be like, 1 minute you're running down a corridor, the next minute you're running down that's like metal and steel, the next you're running down a corridor that's an old stone dungeon, then one made completely of wood, then you're running along a mountain path, then you're back in where you should be, and it's kind of like, it's just fucking with reality and time and space. Then in that way, it's kind of like the mechanical monster where it can hack reality like it was a computer program. So it can add things, delete things. It's like you're fighting someone with the creator tools in Minecraft or Gary's mod. Reflections likewise will be a fun one, because it's basically the players will get paranoid over any surface that could be in any way reflective, as this thing is following them along reflective surfaces. And then you have fear, body horror, and the creature made of nightmares, which those 3 are much less. Those 3 will mess less with the environment, more be traditional. Monsters. Right, we're nearly at an hour and a half, so I'm actually going to finish it there. I was maybe going to do some FF14 later on stream, but I think I'm going to leave it for now because I'm getting very tired and sleepy. I have not done streaming for a while, so we're going to build ourselves back into it. We're going to do it bit by bit. But yeah, thank you all for showing up. It's been very cool. Actually sitting down and putting my thoughts into thing is good. Yeah. So, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for joining. And yeah, we'll see you all next time. Oh yeah, go to the. There we go. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for joining. And we will see you all next time.